Hey everybody, Mark here. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be focusing on what it's going to take to make $100 a day inside of Pocket Option. How is this going to work? How much risk is it going to be? How long is it going to take? How much money do we need to start with? We're going to cover everything right on this video. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Now there's a couple tools that we're going to be using. We're going to be using the 30-day compounder tool, which is available inside of the VIP group. And we also have the Wealth Warriors Trade Manager. Okay, these two tools will help us to determine how long and how much cash do we need. You know, what's the percentage of how much we need to make per day, and how long is it going to take to compound those results, and everything right here. So what we're going to do first is start over on the Trade Manager. Now, guys, when it comes to capital, this is important. This is everything. You know, if you only have like $100, and I say only, well, for some that might not be a lot of money, but for some of you it is, and I totally get it. So, but with $100, it's going to be really, really hard to pull $100 a day from $100 inside a Pocket Option, at least safely and conservatively. That's going to be pretty difficult to do. You know, I would say with $100, a good goal for that amount of capital, I would say like $10. And I've done that several times on this channel. As a matter of fact, I do have a video that shows how to grow a small account. But guys, if you focus on that $10 a day, you're going to eventually get to $200 and then $300. And then there you are, you're at that point where you could possibly thinking about making a consistent $50 a day, and then you'll eventually hit that $100 a day mark, okay? So we're not going to start at $100 because we need a little bit more capital. So I think for this video, let's just throw out some numbers here. We're just going to use $500 as a starting point. So what you want to do with the Trade Manager is enter in the capital that you have and then adjust the settings. But the Trade Manager will also tell you the minimum amount you need for the settings that you choose. And it's right here, and it'll just appear red if if you don't have enough capital. You will see a red background there just alerting you that you're going to have to put more capital to use these settings. So that's cool. But to win, let's just say 1 out of 10, which means that you must have a 10% win rate or higher with your trading sessions. You're going to have a little over $1,440. Okay. But let's just go a little bit lower here. Let's make some tweaks. And for this video and for myself personally, when it comes to the strategy that I use, which is the Fast 5 strategy, it's a 5-second time or a 5-second expiry. It goes pretty quick, so I can usually get through these sessions pretty fast. But it's a strategy that I use and I'm pretty comfortable with. But I don't think that I would do anything more riskier than 1 out of 9. So let's just go ahead and take this down to 9 because, a lot of you have asked me, Mark, how many losses have you had in a row? Guys, with the Fast 5 strategy, I've had 8 losses in a row, and that's a lot. And that's just on any given day. Now, how often does that happen? Very rarely. Like, that's only happened once. But it could happen again, and that's really close. So I wouldn't really want to set my total trades for my sessions under 9. Now we do have some traders trading with much less than that. They have a very dialed in strategy. Maybe they're using a higher time frame, and their setups are a bit more accurate. They're using like a 1 minute or a 2 minute expiry, and that's totally cool. We have users doing that starting, 1 out of 6, they're earning, over $6 per, profit per session. And that's great. That's a good amount of money for a $500 balance. But for me personally, guys, and for most of you, starting out, I would be around, somewhere around the 9 to 10 range up here, because you really want to give yourself a lot of room in case something happens. You just never know. And I always plan for the worst. I mean, I'm always, I structure and design everything for the worst possible scenario that happens. And so I've got to really, keep that on my mind. So winning 1 out of 9 trades, it gives you just an extra percentage here. You must have an 11% win rate or better for each of the trading sessions, because you're going to be doing multiples of these sessions. So in this case, with 1 out of 9, then you're going to have more money in pocket options. So it tells you right here, this is the minimum amount, which is $689.97. So let's just say $690. Let's just go ahead and put that in here. Now I'm going to share with you how you can use a little bit of a smaller amount, but I'm also going to show you what happens when you have more money and how fast you can scale. But so let's just knock this down to $690, and you must win 1 out of 9 trades. That makes the first trade amount exactly $1, which is the smallest amount that you can trade with inside a pocket option. So these are important things to consider. You don't want to trade, you can't trade with like 75 cents or something like that. So $1 is the lowest amount. Now what we're going to do here is look right here where it says account gain. This is 0.13%. Might not seem like a lot, but guys, that's almost $1 per win, which is pretty good. I mean, you could stack those dollars all day if you want to. You can do as many sessions as you want. So we're going to look at that account gain, and let's take that number over to the 30-day compounder, and let's make some changes here. So let's just change this account gain percentage. Let's change that to 0.13. So it says right here, gain per session, which is important. This is not after the whole day. This is just per session, guys. Okay. You can still get to those 1%, 2% days. You're just going to have to do multiple sessions to get there. But it's a much more safer route to go. At least for me, it's allowed me to take a few $100s and turn that into over $3,000 just by doing this. But being ultra conservative this way. So 0.13 initial capital. Let's go ahead and match that up. So we've got 690. So let's just go ahead and put that in here, 690. There we go. And let's take a look at the numbers here. So you can see the first day of earnings. Now, before I show you this, I just want you guys to keep in mind this setting right here where it says daily sessions. I've got 30 entered in here. So now this is customizable. This is flexible. If you guys have the time to do more trading sessions per day, if you have the stamina and you can emotionally get through it and you don't have like a lot of fatigue, maybe you can trade for an hour. Now, for me personally, after an hour, I need like a break. I need to really like step back, go make a sandwich, drink some water, or do something. I've done several 2-hour sessions on my YouTube channel. And I got to tell you, after 2 hours of consistent trading, it is exhausting. I mean, you're just mentally like whipped. And so that's a lot, but you can cover and you can complete, somewhere around 40, 50 sessions if you really push it. So I would say, if you're going to do a little bit of trading in the morning, a little bit of trading in the evening, I think 30 sessions a day is very realistic, or maybe you want to do 20 in the morning, 20 in the day. That's going to help you compound even faster. Okay. But let's just take a look here, and just for fun, let's just enter in here 40. Like we're talking about, if you're going to do 20 sessions in the morning, 20 sessions in the evening, go to bed, wake up in the morning, do it again before work, and just continue that pattern. What exactly would happen here? So the first day of earnings would be a little over $35, and you can see that this just continues to grow from here. Okay. And you can also see your capital or your balance grow. So as your daily earnings grow, but also keep in mind that as you're adding more capital to your balance, it's compounding. So you're utilizing more money, and you're able to kind of catapult yourself to those higher numbers much faster instead of just using the same capital, the same dollar amount. So that's the power behind compounding. That's why we have this calculator. And this is something that's not available online. This is specifically designed to be used with the trade manager because it has all these other features that are missing with most online tools. But this is just going to tell you the daily earnings over the course of 30 days. And so you could probably expect somewhere around day 22, you're going to cross over that $100 a day mark. And by that time, you might be looking somewhere with your balance, somewhere around $2,100. Okay. So I think that's a fairly conservative route to go. Again, though, it is total trades 9, and that's I might get a little shaky on that. For me, I like to just knock this down to 10 and then look and see up here with the minimum amount, and it'll say I need $1,440 or about $1,441, somewhere around there to start with. So if you do have more capital to use or more capital to play with, you're going to be able to hit that $100 a day much faster. So let's go ahead and see what the difference is here. So 1.4, and I'll just make this, we'll just go 1441. And that'll make that alert disappear, and that'll put us at exactly $1 per trade. And let's go back to the compounder. And so let's just change the initial capital here. So 1441. And I haven't changed any of the settings here. So the account gain, that's going to be actually a little different. So let me take that back. Let me go back to the trade manager. Yeah. So if you're going to go 1 out of 10, it's going to knock the account gain percentage after each session down to 0.06%. But you're still getting that 92 per session. Do you see? So it's almost like the same result with a little bit less. Let's go ahead and enter that in 0.06. Let's bring that up here. So there we go. And let's just take a look here. So we're starting with $1,441 with an account gain per session at 0.06. Total same daily sessions, 40 sessions planned for the day, with a total account gain for the day, 2.4. And it looks very similar to the other capital, but you can see here, it's going to take you over 30 days to eventually get to that $100 a day mark, okay? However, you only have to win 1 out of 10. So it's not as risky, right? So you've knocked down the win rate from 11, now you're down to 10%. Okay, so let's see if we can boost this, and let's make this just a little bit more dramatic here. Let's just knock this, better yet, guys, let's just stay over here on the 30-day compounder, because this is why we've designed this tool, so you don't have to keep going back and forth. You can set your settings inside of the trade manager and then just stay over here on the 30-day compounder and adjust the initial capital, and you don't have to change the other settings. But let's just modify this, and let's just kind of see with the capital that we put into the platform, how long it would take. If we do start with an initial capital of $3,000, then it would only take 15 days to reach that $100 a day mark, which is actually not too bad, right? By then you're going to have like over $4,000, $4,200. And that looks pretty good. So even by the day or by the end of the 30 days, you're going to be really close to that $150 area, which is kind of cool. Then you're going to have a really nice balance of over $6,000, right? And now that's, considering everything has gone well, and you guys know that trading is risky, and most people lose money, and this is a very risky space and thing to do, right? Things can happen. There is a possibility of losing a lot of money, losing half of your money when you're trading, any kind of trading, and especially with pocket option and binary options. And so that's why we just have to be so careful. And I would say, just from being in the group, most of our members have lost money just by simply making typos, which is really interesting. You go in for $10, but you didn't go in for $10. You went in for $100, and you lose a whole week of earnings, and it kind of sucks. I get it. I mean, it's not always pleasant when that happens. But so when my capital and pocket option, when this starts to grow, I have to be very careful about, when I'm putting in these numbers here, and I always check it. I'm always looking at it. I always say the numbers out loud. So when I come over here and I put in, let's just say, 1015 or some number like that, I'm looking at it and I'm going like, okay, 1015. But I also have this protective mechanism here, which is a trade amount limit, which prevents me from trading with anything over $50 for me, but you can put any number in this box right here to protect yourself. But guys, a lot of this really just all depends. It really depends how comfortable you are with your strategy, how much capital do you have, and what you're willing to lose, I guess, or you don't want to put in something, you don't want to put in your whole paycheck. I've heard about some traders doing that. Please don't do that. Maybe take just a very small portion or a quarter of that and maybe put that into an exchange. Whatever you're comfortable with, guys, that's what it's all about. But if you do have the patience, you can take a smaller amount and just grow that over time. There's nothing wrong with that. We've all done it. And so, so now let's take a look at a different scenario. This is kind of like a hack, something that you can do. And I've done this several times. So here's what you can do. You can take the win trades right here and you can change this to 2. Now, using 2, winning 2 out of 10, that is a lot. That's like 2 times the risk of what you had before working with the 1 out of 10. You've got to have a 20% win rate or higher. So I would say there's a pretty good chance eventually, you're going to go ahead and, you're going to reach that, or you have the potential to lose a lot of money or a good portion of your account by using these settings. So here's what I would do. I would take this total trades and increase this as high as you can go. Okay, so now this is all depending on how much initial capital that you have. So if you don't have $1,400, then your results are going to be different than mine. But turn the total trades, go ahead and just increase this number and increase that until you see this red alert appear over here, letting you know, like, dude, if you want to use these settings, you're going to have more money in the platform in order to do that. And as soon as you do enter or put more capital, this red alert will go away. And all that red alert is it's just letting you know that you're underneath the $1 trade limit over here. So 15 is pretty high. Let's just go ahead and knock that down to 14. All right, so now we're at 14. Here's what you can do. Now, even that's still too low, right? But let's just say we've got an extra $500 or whatever. Let's just put $2,000, okay? There we go. So that alert goes away and the first trade amount is 103. But let's just say you've got around $2,000. You've got the settings to win 2 out of 14 trades and you start losing, right? So you have an L, another L, another L, another L, another L. And this just keeps going on and on and on. You've got 8 down. You're like, man, I just can't get a winner. But let's just say on the 9th trade, you do have a win. You get a win. I want you to look at something right here. You were down $1,818 from that $2,000, but that one win brought you back to $1,950. Now, technically, your trading session is not over. You still have one more win to go, right? Well, you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading slots to go. So you've got to win somewhere 1 out of 5 trades. And in the next 5 trades, you've got to have a winner. And if you don't, your max loss before liquidation is 13. So you could blow your account after the 13th trade. So you just have to keep that in mind. So here's what I would do is I wouldn't go all the way to 14 and try to push this, trying to win 2 trades after I've already lost 8 trades in a row, trying to win 2 out of 14. No way, Jose. Ain't going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 1950-54 and I'm just going to call it a wrap, right? I'm just going to call it a day, but for this session, I'm just going to wrap it up. I'm going to come over here, click on the new session button, or clear everything out. But it's a lot better having $1,950 than being all the way down here and having that last 13th trade, blowing that, and then being in a situation where you have to win that 14th trade. And if you don't, you have lost everything. Boom. Right? So guys, spread things out a little bit more. Don't push it all the way to the end. Earlier this year, I had a 20% drawdown in my account. This is basically your drawdown. You're starting up here. You started with 2,000, and so now you just see, you're going down, and this stop loss alert over here, it'll alert you. The worst case scenario for me would be hitting that 20% drawdown. I'm out. I'm done. But if I have the settings to win 2 out of 14, that's not going to happen for me, or not as likely to happen if I stop trading after my first win. That's going to bring my account back up to $1,950. Yes, of course, you might end the day down. Maybe if you can build that up, maybe another extra $10, $20. At least you're not down $500. You might be down $50. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I would do if I was really wanted to take this seriously. Now let's have some fun here. Let's take this number here. Let's just say, I don't know, $6,000. Okay. And watch just everything change here. But not much. The account gain stays the same. But let's just take this total trades 10, make this 1. You've got to have a 10% win rate. In order to complete this session, the account gains are going to be 0.06. And let's go over here. The only thing we need to change is the capital. And there we go. So on day 1, you could hit that $100, but 40 sessions, if I'm hitting $144 after 40 sessions, well, I've already surpassed my goal for the day. So what I'm going to do is just knock this down or bring it down, keep lowering the daily sessions until the daily earnings hits $100. Okay, so almost there. Let's go ahead and put that down to 30. Boom. Right there, 108. I could probably bring that down even lower. Let's go to 28. There you go, right at 100. So starting on day 1, you could have that $100. Of course, you're going to have to have that $6,000 in there to do that. So you got to be comfortable with that. And that's going to give you a total account gain for the day about 1.68. Now, at the end of that 30 days, this is going to be a slow growth up to $200 a day. If you guys want to put in a little bit more effort and do a few more sessions, so let's say you do 32 sessions a day. All right, so I think it's going to be 33 sessions a day. By the end of the 30 days, you're going to just be over a little bit over $200, $210 or something like that. So give or take, it's not always, this is just an estimate, by the way, guys. So it's not exactly right. There's fees and different things that happen. There's little micro adjustments in fees inside a pocket option that happen. So yeah, but this is just really to give you guys kind of a general idea on what to expect in the real world, so to speak. The reality of things. Taking this total trades to make it even safer, you would want to go down to 11, right? So you're winning 1 out of 11. Now you're still over $1. You almost got like $2 for the first trade here. Let me go ahead and clear this out. So the first trade is still well over $1. With 6,000 bucks, you could take this down. Let's go to 12 and see what happens. Okay. So now we got the red alert. We need just a little bit more capital. So if we had, let's just say $280, right? According to what it says here, we must maintain an 8% win rate. 8%. A lot of us are shooting for that 90% win rate, which really doesn't exist. I've never seen it. But I've seen like 70s, okay? But if you can just get an 8% win rate for each session, you guys will be all set to go. But again, that's going to put you down to that 92 cents per session. So for strategies that take longer with those higher time frames and higher expiries, it's going to take a really long time to reach your goals. You're going to have to complete a lot of sessions. In other words, let's just say if I put profit target over here inside of the daily goals calculator, if I put 100, we're going to have to do, 100 sessions in a day just to reach $100 with these settings. But just think how much more safer it is. So you could have, loss after loss. You could just have a string of losses, right? Boom, you win that 12th trade there, you're good to go, right? You're in profit 92 cents. But look, and on the worst day possible, you could still come out in profit, but that's a lot of capital. And guys, it's not really much the capital, actually. It's just the time, because you've lowered your account gain for each session down to 0.01%. So that's why on my videos, these are my settings. I want to get up to that $6,000 mark, but I'll be using these settings to get there. But also, I'm using a strategy that I'm comfortable with and that I have been using for, I would say almost a year now. I've been using that Fast 5 strategy. I switch and I share different strategies on my YouTube channel, but for almost a year, I'd say probably been a year now, I've been just hitting that Fast 5 strategy so much that it comes to the point now where I'm looking at the momentum of the candles, and I just have a really good idea on what it's going to do because I've done it for so long, But to get that and to build that skill and that intuition and that muscle memory, to get to that point with a strategy where you just kind of know, that takes time. It takes practice. And it's not something that everybody wants to hear, right? That you have to sit here and practice. And that's how good traders get good, is they just sit here and they do it every day They do it for even years. And I'm not saying it's going to take you years, because I've seen members in the group that do it surprisingly much, much faster. But there you go, guys. I'm not going to say this is anything I'm recommending, but these are the realistic results. And, in the real world, what I would expect. And, when I sit down here every day and I'm looking at the calculator, I'm looking at my balance inside a Pocket Option, and I'm going, okay, I know that I've got to win 1 out of 10 trades. And if I don't, then I'm going to have a large amount of drawdown. I'm going to have to quit, and it's going to take me another week or 2 weeks to build back that capital. That's it, guys. This is my real account here. Here's the demo. I've had this account for a very, very long time. But there you go. Hope this helps you out. If you guys want to get all of my trading tools, of course, you can get all of that over at the Wealth Warriors Alliance. This is a private group. It's a Telegram group that's included, and where you can interact with other members. You can ask what other members are using for their strategies. We've got a withdrawals channel now where you can see other members withdrawing their funds. They're posting screenshots of their withdrawals. We've got a strategies channel where you can only look and go over different strategies that the users are posting, or if they find something that's working really well for them, they will post that strategy in the group for everybody to see. So it's really, really cool stuff. And of course, you get all of the cutting edge trading tools. You get the 30-day compounder and the trade manager. And I'm sharing this with you because many of you are asking me, hey, Mark, where do I get the spreadsheet? So that's what I'm doing right now. But we also have, of course, hours of exclusive video training from myself, from other members, and videos that go into great detail on how all the tools work. Okay, I mean, down to everything, the buttons, what do those mean, and just everything. It's all there. We've got over 2,000 members now, and we try to keep it a positive environment. All ages are welcome. It's not just a bunch of, it's not a daycare. We don't have a bunch of kids running around and stuff like that. It's not like that at all. Everybody, we try to respect one another, and we try to keep it a positive place for everybody. Because when it comes to trading, there's a lot of emotions going on and stuff. And so we've also added the mindset room, which is there to, if something happens, you need to talk about something, that's the place to do it. And other members are there to support you as well. And far as how the group goes, we've got testimonials and reviews, but for me, I think results are the most powerful. That is really kind of, I wouldn't say the proof, because I don't really like that word. But a lot of you guys want this so-called proof thing. I don't really have any proof for you because trading's super risky. Most people lose money with trading. It's a risky game, but there are those out there that they've decided they want to play this risky game. And some of those traders put in the time and the effort and the work to learn how to do things, and they get great results. And they're also in the group and there to help you and to maybe get back to you and answer any questions that you guys have. So that's the group, guys. And that's making $100 a day inside a Pocket Option. So thanks for coming out. Wish you all the best of success, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day. Take care.